Hi, thank you for shopping here at Larson Foods, and so I understand you have some problems with the eggs. Uh, yeah, so the reason the egg prices have gone up are a ton of birds have been affected by the avian flu, which means we have a lower supply, but demand is still the same, and so Uh, since that means by the law of supply and demand that since our supply is lower but demand is still the same, uh, that means we have to make the prices more expensive. And you know, to give you a full concept of supply and demand, like let's say for instance we had a relatively normal supply, but for some reason people went on like a there was like a mass diet where they cut out just eggs. Our prices would become cheaper because less people are buying the eggs. And so this is also just a function of prices in the market. And so I'm sure you typically view us as high quality with good cheap prices. But that your opinion might change. Like for instance, let's say you see some food at the dollar store, you might think that food's of a bit lesser quality. Whereas if you go to some super high end uh, grocer uh, and whose prices are more expensive, you might view that as a that their products are all super high quality. And this isn't necessarily true, as I've said, our prices are normally cheaper, but of course they've had to increase because of the avian swine flu. And I like to think that our products are of a very high quality. And so next, I'd like to explain like another way that prices um, can change are through the concept of competition, and competition between other grocery stores for customers like yourself means they try to compete through either having really high quality products or cheaper prices. Now we've managed to do both here at Larson Foods, and we've glad you've taken a notice. However, unfortunately, as much as we want to decrease the price, so you'll keep shopping here, and we hope you'll still continue to shop here after I've fully explained why we're dealing with why all these issues are happening. We can't decrease the price simply because we don't have high enough supply. Um, and obviously, we are a business, and so we need to make a profit. And that leads me on to um, the last part of my little spiel is I want to identify the factors affecting business profits. And so uh, obviously supply and demand, as I've said, low supply and high demand means we've got to make it more expensive. But also we have to, because there's a lower supply, we have to increase our expenses because we have to look farther than we normally would for our uh, for enough eggs just so that we can say somewhat stocked, even though we're nowhere near as stocked, simply because there is a massive avian flu outbreak. Um, so our expenses, such as shipping and travel, we're having to pay the drivers that drive the big shipping trucks more because they're traveling further, and of course shipping prices are more expensive, such as gas and um, other stuff like that. And so there are really like three things also that would kind of affect our profits. There are obviously more, but these are the three main ones, such as expenses, which have gone up, which means we have to increase the price. We could theoretically increase worker productivity, but that's already really high because, as I'm sure you've noticed, everybody here at Larson Foods cares about you. Um, and so, unfortunately, that means we have to increase the prices. Yeah, unfortunately. we want to, as soon as we can get the eggs back to a reasonable level, we'll try to decrease the price back to what it normally would be. And you're also not the first customer who's come up to me or my coworkers. And so we're working on typing something up that would be similar to what I just said, and to put on a sign next to the eggs, and maybe on like the front of the door if people made a quick stop just for eggs, that the prices are more expensive because there's the avian flu going on. So we have lower supply and demand has stayed the same as and just a little more stuff about how we appreciate you still shopping here at Larson Foods, and we're doing the best that we can. And I also understood you asked, do I think that any other prices could go up? And I think you could potentially see a rise on some poultry products, like mainly just chicken, but maybe some other things if other birds are affected. And so chicken tender prices might go up, and stuff like that. We really appreciate you here at Larson Foods, and we hope you'll stick around, and hopefully the birds will stop being affected by the avian flu.